Great day in SimWorld, everybody. Good morning and welcome to SimWorld today. Morning show, number one morning show here in SimWorld TV. I'm B. Ron alongside me, as always, is Yells. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Top of the morning. It's a damn Tuesday again, but I love it. But I love it. What I think Coach Skinny or somebody dubbed it terrific Tuesdays or something real corny and cheesy.
Hey,
Yeah,
look, man. Sometimes corny and cheesy is work. It works.
touche.
That's all you gotta be sometimes. But hey, look, we have a guest joining us this morning. Got him calling in, Coach CC Lytle from Beyond the Arch. Good morning, sir. Pleasure to have you on with us.
Good morning, gentlemen. How you doing this morning?
Doing wonderful, sir. And yourself?
Not too bad, just been watching a little bit of film, getting some early work in. So just a usual Tuesday.
Good. Where are you calling in from? Out of curiosity, you just in the office?
Yep. Yeah, just in the office. Normally I get here about 7 in the morning, so try to get a little workout in before everybody else jumps in and then start watching some
Yeah.
film. So just kind of right in the middle of those things.
Early bird
Okay.
gets the win, huh?
There there you go.
Coach,
Yeah.
so before we get started, I'm really big on making sure we get names right. How do we say your last name for those of us who are getting to walk through this verbally now?
Yeah, I've seen a couple different variations from people, but it is correct. It's CC Lytle, so it is Lytle.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, good. Cause I
Yep.
cause I I've said lightly on accent plenty of times. I'm like, no, it's Lytle. I'm almost sure it's Lytle. So
Yep.
good
You
know I
have
got
it.
it right. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Getting the names are right. Name's very important to me and everybody here. So I should get them right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump into some of these questions. I got a couple here. Y'all will have some for you as we go along here. But my first question for you is, stepping back into coaching when you did, how quickly were you able to get back up to speed? Because when you step back into coaching, the craze was, I think it was just starting or it was already going on. So you had to really just jump in and get immediately to work. How quickly were you able to do that? And what kind of things really helped you do that so effectively?
For me, jumping back in, it was right at the beginning of the craze. So being able to jump in and immediately start, I've been keeping an eye on the games anyway, in my time away.
Okay.
So I already had kind of familiarity of some people, right? But really, it's just about getting to work, right? I like to lace up my boots and get dirty. So, obviously, as soon as I got into BTA here, we just hit the ground running.
Okay, that is good. That is good, and that is something that I think a lot of people, both on both sides, players and coaches, can both respect and strive to do in terms of hitting the ground running when you get the opportunity to, and joining Beyond the Arch when you did was a good time for you. I know we spoke about it, wanting to represent the Midwest in a more positive way and that kind of stuff. So glad you're able to find your home there as well.
Oh, don't you hover over that. Represent the Midwest in a more positive way. We'll come back to that. I definitely want to hear more about that. I wasn't part of that conversation. I do want to ask Coach Lytle. So one of your first signings, Johan Nowajovic, may have been your first signing, if I'm correct. Was it not?
That is correct.
All right, so he kind of flew under the radar last season. At times, he came off the bench for the Indy Stripes, but he is an
Yep.
incredible talent.
Mhm.
What made you target him, and did you know right out the gate that you were going after him, or did something fall in your lap? You care to kind of expound on that for us?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I really kept an eye on certain players in the SW, and this is one of the guys, right? I mean, he was a guy that I feel like was not utilized correctly in Indy. And so, he's a three-level scorer, as B. Ron said, when it was brought up, when he was actually committed. So this is a guy that if you look at the roster in hand, I'm really one of those coaches that likes size, and so having Johan be the five, um, is going to be a key for us, or not the 5, the 1. I'm sorry, being the point guard on the floor is going to be key for us, right? He's a 3 level scorer. He's going to be able to get this offense moving, right? This is a totally different offense than what was installed at BTA last season. So Johan was a guy that I targeted very early, because I feel like he has the skill set that I am looking for in order to run this offense and be better than what they were last season.
Yeah. Before you jump in there, B Ron, what he
Yeah.
means when he says skill sets, he means he can go get a bucket. He can go get a
He sure
bucket.
can. He sure
Yo,
can. We saw a lot last season with Indy when he had opportunities to, and like you said, he wasn't used properly. And I have to agree with that in Indy. But now he's gonna get a chance to be the leading man over there, and we'll see how he adjusts to that role. I think he'll be just fine in that role. But I want to ask, with your return to coaching, how much, if anything, have things changed with your philosophy from when you were coaching the reigning trades?
Changed a little bit, right? You kind of have to learn and adapt when the game changes, right? So,
Mhm.
rating trade is a little bit of a different offense, right? We tried to attack the basket really and tried to use some of the slashers that we had. But when I came into Beyond the Arch, I really wanted to kind of stay with that mantra of beyond the arch, right? Maybe
Yeah,
so, kind of a little
I
play
like
on
that.
words.
I
So
appreciate
when
that.
you
Yeah.
look at when you look at this when you look at this roster up and down, there's shooters everywhere, right? Shooters from 1 to 5. So what we want to do is we want to spread the defense thin and make every player work. When you watch BTA last season, it was always just feed the ball to Tyson Simpson, right? And don't get me wrong, that's a good idea when you have Tyson Simpson.
Yeah.
But we no longer have Tyson Simpson, so we have to kind of adjust things a little bit. But instead of having one person you got to worry about, now you got to worry about all 5, and that's a dangerous thing to have when you're on the offensive side of the ball.
speaking about the middle of the paint, you brought up Tyson Simpson. I'm really hoping this young man does not get compared to or is asked to step in and be Tyson Simpson, but 7 feet tall. I'm hearing that may be a legitimate 7 feet, 230, only 15 years old. Silky smooth jumper. Paul McAdams. Tell me what you like about his game. Obviously, I think I probably hit on some, but tell me what you like about his game and how you think he's going to affect the league as a whole.
Well, I can tell you this. I mean, for one thing, this is not going to be Tyson Simpson 2.0, right? Tyson Simpson's a guy that's a big physical guy. You want him in the paint at all times. Paul McAdams is the opposite, right? He's really kind of a stretch 5. I almost kind of look at him as using an old school reference, it's like Sam Perkins, right? Back in the old days when he used to play
Oh,
for Indiana Pacers and stuff. Sam Perkins wasn't really known as a guy that was a inside the paint type of person.
at all.
He was somebody that can stretch the floor out, right? And so as you see, the philosophy of this is stretching the floor, right? With Noah Jovic and Daniel Horry in the backcourt, which I think is going to be a very underrated 1-2 punch
Yeah.
here in prep world. Having a guy to be able to, if they try to drive the lane, maybe a guy to kick out to like a Paul McAdams. I mean, it's a dangerous thought. And Paul's game really, really just works very well with the offensive philosophy that we're going to have in place here.
Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
most definitely. Again, I appreciate you leaning into the beyond the arch thing. I really like that. So I'm glad someone's doing it. I'm glad it's you. And I love a stretch big as well, just because, like you said, they can help open up the offense. Some people might not like that so much, but that's a personal thing, and that's okay for them to have their opinions on it. But me,
Yeah.
I'm down with that. I'm down with that for sure. Um, the final question that I have for you. What has been the best part of coaching for you so far here in SimWorld Prep? I know you had to step away when you were 4-3 in your early coaching career, but you're able to come back and that kind of thing. So you're coming in above 500, so like that's
Yep.
good. But what's been the best part of coaching for you? Be it in your the first part of your first little season there last season, or getting through the recruiting process here in your second season, and it'll hopefully be your first full complete season in Simple Prep. Which best view on that?
Yeah. One of the things that I really love about coaching in the prep level is getting to know these kids, right? Each each of these guys that I was able to bring in, I told every one of them, I said, my ultimate goal as a coach is to make sure that you get to the next level. I want to tap into the potential that you have and be able to get you looked at by some of these top schools, in college. And so, getting to know these kids, getting to know not only on the court but off the court as well, has always been the biggest thing for me. And then on top of that, I guess winning some games is all right? So, so obviously, wanting to make Beyond the Arch one of, if not the best teams here in SimWorld Prep. But like I said, the main goal is to obviously get these kids educated, get these kids, ready for the next level.
Awesome. I love hearing a coach that has a plan, man. It looks like you got these kids' best interest at heart, and this is what we're looking for at this level is really developing young men,
Yeah.
developing skill. All that pleasant stuff is out the way. Back to what B-Ron said about properly representing the Midwest. Yeah, I don't even know how to phrase my question, Coach. I'm sure I could assume some things, maybe allude to. But what exactly, whatever level, I don't want to delve too much, but whatever level you guys may have discussed about, that statement, can you give us a little insight on what you may have meant by that, or what what it is you are wanting to do in that regard?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like I told him, last season I was at Raining Trays, which is up in the Pacific Northwest, and so I'm a Midwest guy, right? I'm born and bred in Indiana, and so what I want to do is come back to the Midwest, into a region that I'm really familiar with, and I think that's really helped in being able to attract some of these guys, like a Jerry Bixby and a DeMarcus Owens and Mally Thomas, being in this from this region, right?
Yeah.
And being able to know what a Midwest player wants to have, right? A lot of these guys like to play close to home, right? And so, being a guy that, values that home life, being from your hometown, I completely understand that. And so, wanting to give them that opportunity and be able to talk them into that, was a big key thing for me. And like I said, the Midwest, I feel like has some of the best players in all of prep level anyway. So I'm being able to tap into a resource that maybe a lot of people don't want to tap into because they're focusing on, kids out in New York and kids out in LA.
Oh, shots
Okay.
fired. Shots fired.
Yeah, because there's a lot of talent, like you said, out in California, New York, Florida, those places. But if you have there's what, three teams I would say you're probably in this quote unquote Midwest area, Heartland, you guys, Indy, those teams come to mind immediately. So all three of those teams kind of competing for that same talent. If
Mhm.
you can relate to those players in that way, being from the Midwest, that, like I said, gives you an advantage, and you've clearly used that to get a lot of the talent you've gotten so far in the commitment craze period.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's like I said, that's one of the main goals, right? When you're going up against Coach Shiragani and Coach Lovelace as well. I mean, those are two great coaches. It's already going to be tough as it is.
Right.
Trying to get guys to be in the Midwest, but like I said, I just try to reach out to them and let them know, like, hey, I'm not just thinking about wins and losses. I'm thinking about your future. I'm thinking about developing you into the player that I know you can be. I feel like that really is what a lot of players want. And so that's how we were able to get such talent here at BTA.
Hey, this isn't the final level. We got SWU coming, so
Yeah.
these kids are looking forward to what that next step in their careers and hopefully making it to the pros, SWBA, right? So
Yep.
Yep.
you brought up New York though. I know you got some film to look at. You got time to hang around with us for just one
Yeah.
second as we move into this next segment?
Of course. Go ahead.
Hey, B-Ron, he talked to New York. He talked to East Coast, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Um,
sure did.
we got some news this morning.
Yep.
Dylan Harper, he's coming to the Midwest. He's
Hmm.
coming from the East Coast. He's going to join the Indy Stripes.
Wow.
And Coach Lytle just alluded to it. Coach Shiragone there needed a home run, and it looks like one landed in his lap. This kid's rated. I think he's ranked the number one or number two kid in all the nation by all the major sites, excluding Rick Blaze. But aside from that, he's expected to be one of the top kids in the country in any league, let alone SimWorld Prep. What do you make of this? And actually, B-Ron, we'll hand it to you. I'll step out of this one, and you can hand it over to Coach Lytle. Definitely want to know what he thinks about this as
You
well.
I was gonna say you already handing it over, man.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
off. I'm off the
yeah,
case.
yeah. So like Yale said, what do you think about that move, him joining the Indy Stripes, and then you're gonna have to see him a lot more as a result of him, joining Indy. So you'll have to game plan around him and that kind of stuff. What do you make of all of that? I know it was a lot to kind of take in, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting commitment there for Indy. First off, congratulations to the coach. I mean, he must have done a great job with the recruiting process to be able to get a guy like Dylan Harper. I mean, I believe he's the number 2 overall prospect on the sites that I was being able to look at. But a guy that's that size, right, 6'5", he's kind of like a combo guard. I think he's going to be really a big asset for them. As far as as a Midwest guy, I like to see it because I kind of hope he stays in the Midwest when it comes to his college choice.
Okay.
Obviously, I said where I'm from, so I'm kind of hoping maybe he stays in where I'm from, but
Yeah.
obviously he's already there in Indy, so maybe he just keeps staying in Indiana after that. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how he turns out, right? Because he is Ron Harper's kid, right? So maybe he turns into Ron Harper. Hopefully he won't be like his dad was. He was the mouthpiece for Michael Jordan back in the Bulls days. But
You heard me talking
but I
about
think
that.
yeah, I was what's crazy is I thought that same thing, even before, and when you said it, I just started laughing. I'm like, Yells gets it. He understands. So yeah, with Dylan, no, I think he's going to be a great asset for Indy Stripes. He's going to be somebody that you're going to really get the game plan around. But speaking just for beyond the arch, we're not scared of anybody, right? It doesn't matter
Of
who
course
is going
not.
to be. We're going to be able to do what we have to do, and I think we'll be able to take those victories, hopefully. But I think, like I said, Dylan's going to be a great asset for Indy Stripes and for SimWorld Prep as well.
Absolutely. Well, B-Ron, before we get your take on this, I know you said you had to get out of here, Coach Lytle, and then we're going to keep moving through here. Excellent breakdown on Dylan Harper. Excellent infos. Great insight having you here. Eloquent. Love what you're doing. Love what you're doing with your team and what your vision is for him. B-Ron, you want to throw any praise Coach Lytle's way? And
Uh,
I'm gonna say it needs to be quite a bit since you called him Coach lightly. That's not gonna be
Yeah,
fair.
I mean, true. I really need some high ups praise there, B-Ron.
Hey, look, we really appreciate you being on here. It's so good to have another coach who's really invested in his kids' futures. Winning is nice, but building the future is more important.
Mhm.
So, in that respect, much respect to you for taking that initiative and going forward with that. Look forward to seeing what you do this season, coach, for Beyond the Arch and going forward.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for all the praise. Thank you for putting BTA up on a level that I think they haven't been up in quite a long time. So thank you once again, and enjoy the show. As I've told you both, you guys do a fantastic job. That's why you're the best show on the biz.
Oh, we
There it is, yes,
appreciate it.
sir.
Good luck to you this season, Coach. We'll have you back on soon, hopefully.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, gentlemen.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Oh,
Oh
B
man.
Run. We got some high praise this morning.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
sure
that.
did. We sure did, man. This Dylan Harper thing, man.
Yeah, I definitely want to know where you
Yeah,
stand with that. We're not letting that go.
yeah. So I like the move, but I'm also a little concerned, and
Oh,
my concern mostly comes from a place of seeing what I saw last season
hmm,
with how they failed to use Kirby Ordway in a proper way. I just don't want that same fate to befall Dylan Harper. I don't see it happening, but I would be remiss to not be thinking about it.
hey, I told you I'm staying out of this. I
Yeah,
have nothing to
that's
say, B
that's
Ron.
that's all I got though. That's all I got though.
Congrats to
We
the
kind
Indy
of get
Stripes,
yeah,
though. Quite a
yeah,
land there, and Dylan
yeah,
Harper. Let's see what you got, man.
exactly. Um, I realize we are running low on time here. We gotta get moving a little bit, I guess. Um, Sun Chungu, we've heard about the news that came out yesterday. Visa issues. He'll probably have to go only play for Asia Pacific and then only, home games or maybe, the international games if that's a thing for him. Thoughts on all that?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, as everybody
Yeah.
said. I don't think I'm gonna say anything different. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate when politics gets in the way of passion, sports, kids' dreams.
Kids and sports. Yeah.
But that's how, I mean, That's the world we live in. You can only work
Yeah.
within the confines of what's allowed. He has
Yep.
time. There's an opportunity, and I'm a firm believer that talent always wins out. When you work hard and you have talent, that's the ultimate undeniable factor. So at some point, he will get where he's trying to go right now. Hey, just go show out, put on for your city, force them to make you do to allow you to do something different. And you can't
Right.
get it done by passiveness. Sometimes you got to do it by force.
Right.
So
Exactly. Exactly. 100% agree. 100% agree there.
good luck.
Um. Yeah. Exactly.
Fin-
Moving on to
finish them. Finish them.
yeah. All right. Exactly.
Hey,
Moving on.
speaking of another guy
To,
that's kind of in
yeah.
exile, Morboska's playing for Middle East.
Yeah.
SimWorld Middle East, his team has not been good. He's been
No.
very good. They have not been
Yes.
good, but he's sticking it out there. And he's kind of looking like he's the leader of the team. I think that showcases a lot about him, and probably for some colleges who are going to be starting to look
Mhm.
here soon. What do you make of him staying with Middle East?
So I like the move purely from a place of, he's going to get to be the de facto leader over there, like we said. He's going to be the guy who's going to get to take majority of the shots too, and get a lot of the shine over there as well, because he's extremely talented from what we've seen and last season, and even through the off season and pickup games that we've seen him in and that kind of stuff. I think he's only gotten better. He looks to be a little more aggressive, attacking the basket, which is great. So hopefully that translates to more points for him and maybe even some more wins for this team. Because, like you said, last season they were not great at all, and I know he was frustrated there. Um, and maybe I could have understood him leaving and then maybe going back to SimWorld Europe, for example. But he decided to stick it out there for whatever reason. I'm glad he's doing it. That also shows loyalty in that regard, which is good. I think coaches are going to see that too at the next level going forward. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say he probably should have went over to Europe though, because as we move on to our next topic, Europe is looking tough. They are looking tough. Monday's commitments, man. Um, we saw Leonardo Fields commit to Asia Pacific again. We can only assume that Chungu is going to be headed there, but APAC reloaded quite nicely.
Yep.
We saw Michelle Trevelle commits to SimWorld Europe, I believe that is.
Yes. Yep.
But I'm hearing they're actually over their limit when they brought in Zodorn.
Uh-oh.
So I think that Michelle Trevelle will be pulled back off of that roster, is what I'm hearing, to make sure they have room for Zodorn. Um,
Mm.
Taylor Genevieve, big time
Love that
baller,
name.
headed to Southeast Select. Theophilus Monty and Kieran Seshu headed to the North as well. I think the North are going to have to make a tough decision as well, as they are slightly over the roster limit. Those moves, though, coming yesterday, the ones I mentioned to be coupled with Zodorn going to SimWorld Europe, I think we'll know where this is headed. Um, but what do you make of those moves? Any one of those
So
stand up for you or jump off the paper?
so nothing really jumps off the paper per se, but a good story here in Leonardo Fields joining similar Asia Pacific with his brother Devin and Le'Veon. They're also there, and there's one more brother apparently, and at his Hiroto Fields. So there's one more of them. If Impact can somehow get him, that's gonna be a crazy, crazy time to call games when we get there.
Yeah,
It's an
Fields to
important time.
Fields to Fields, Fields
Yeah,
for the finish for the field. Oh my God.
yeah, exactly.
Oh
So I'm looking forward to seeing if all of them can get on one team. We already have the Ilario brothers all on one team. There's three of them, but there's four Fields brothers. So like, we see all four of them. I would like to.
yeah, well they're twinsies. The Hilarios are twinsies, so we'll see what
Yeah,
happens here. We'll see what happens. Look,
yeah,
man,
exactly.
I think we're about out of time though here, and we
Yeah,
hear the
yeah.
producer's losing his freaking mind. He sounds like
As
Will
always.
Ferrell right now. Calm down, sir. Calm down. Look, hey, it's been great as usual here with you, B. Ron. It was excellent
Yeah.
having Coach Lytle on. Coach Lytle, much appreciated. Much luck and success to you this season. Want to Since we're a little bit over, shout out to all the kids in SimWorld Prep. You guys trying to figure out what's best for your futures. You guys know some people that have the gumption and the perseverance to be a coach. Shout him out, have him come join what is the best league in all of prep basketball and have the journey going from prep to pro as we got
Yeah.
SWU and SWBA coming up. Make sure you head on over to TikTok, SimWorld 4K. We got a video up there. We're trying to run up to 40K views and however many likes, but more importantly, we need everyone in our world to comment. So carry your butts on over there and say something about your experience. Shout out to
Yep.
all the other podcasts out here. Dirty Shorts talking dirty. Much respect to you, Maestro. You may be having to head to some of that situation that's headed out. So much respect to you making time, taking ownership, being a part of this. Shout out to the Marsh Pod. Shout out to Around the Table. Shout out to Blazing Takes, the #2 show on SimWorld TV. Who am I forgetting?
And
Slugs all day this
OTR.
morning. OTR, how can I forget? Hey, OTR, y'all might be #1, man. I love what y'all are doing. I love everything y'all throwing in there. I hate that oh my God thing. I hate it, but I love it on y'all show. Y'all doing y'all thing, man. I wanted to get all that out there and make sure I
Yeah,
throw kudos to everyone out there. And
of course.
most importantly, to our most engaged member from last week. Shout out to Kai Killens taking home the #1 spot. And shout out to Drees Williams, Coach Drees, taking home the #1 coach's spot. B Run, I appreciate you too, man. You want to take this last word?
I appreciate you, man, for real. Thank you for joining me every day. I appreciate it, man. Thank you all for listening, as always. And remember, guys, SimWorld is the only place where you can see the game, be the game. We'll see you tomorrow.